Okay, Mary. So I put a timer on for 30 seconds in order for us to track our session, and when it rings, we'll briefly wrap up. So first off, I'm a counseling student in training at North Carolina Central University, and before we get started, I really can't guarantee any confidentiality because these videos will be viewed by my fellow classmates. I'm in a special class, which is why we're having this session. And in some ways that I would break confidentiality is if you had any intention to harm yourself, others, or a child or elderly person, any child abuse or neglect. So is that understood?
hmm
Okay, so let's get started. Tell me what's going on.
Um, I can't really say. Sometimes I feel sad.
Okay. So sometimes you feel sad.
hmm
In what context? When do you normally feel sad?
Sometimes it just happens at random times. Um, I've been going through some things. My job has been stressful. I've lost some friends, and I'm worried about money.
Okay. So it sounds like your sadness comes and goes, and three reasons that you already listed is your job, conflict with your friends, as well as money.
hmm
Was that correct? Okay. So would you like to get started?
I don't think it'll be helpful for me to talk about the reasons why I'm sad. I think it will be more helpful to think about some coping strategies.
Okay. So typically, when you get sad, what do you personally do that would allow you to not feel the sadness?
Sometimes when I write it out, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like when you write it
No,
out.
write it out.
Oh, you ride it out. Okay, so it's like you're being a lighthouse and you're going against the waves.
I don't understand.
So when people say when you ride something out, that means you're withstanding the force or you're withstanding the emotion that you're having. So a lighthouse is just an example of, a lighthouse getting hit by emotional waves.
I still feel them.
Okay, so you still feel these waves,
Yeah.
and most of these waves make you feel sad.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how long when you write it out does it last for?
Usually about 30 minutes, and I lay in bed, and I just feel sad, and then soon I don't feel sad anymore, and I get up.
Okay, so 30 minutes and you typically lay in bed. Do you sleep during that period of time?
Sometimes.
Okay, so it seems like sometimes that you sleep and then when you wake up, the pain is relieved. What would you do during the other times in which you haven't went to sleep or you wouldn't go to sleep?
I just lay there, or I'll go on social media, or I'll go on my phone, or I'll call my mom.
Okay, so you will lay there or you'll go to social media or you will call your mother.
hmm
Okay. In what ways does social media impact your sadness or your feelings during that moment?
I don't think it does. It's just something to do. Or I like when I say social media, I mean like I'll go on Pinterest,
Okay,
or I'll go on YouTube, something like that.
so Pinterest and YouTube. Okay. And regarding your mother, when you call your mother, what do you typically do with your pain to her? Do you talk to her about it?
Sometimes, but she usually will send me a picture of my dog,
Okay.
and it'll cheer me up.
So sometimes you talk to your mother, and other times she'll send you a picture of your dogs that cheer you up.
hmm
So I can take it that you really adore your dogs,
hmm
like a object of joy.
hmm
Okay, so in the other times in which you would be laying there, what would you do then?
Just be sad.
Okay, just be sad. Okay, so when you talked about potential coping mechanisms, out of the examples that you just listed, which ones would be ones that you feel like that would work majority of the time for you?
I guess just riding the wave of the emotion is pretty good instead of just fighting against it.
Okay, so riding the waves of the emotion instead of fighting against it. Okay, so that could be one coping mechanism, right?
Hmm.
Okay, you mentioned also that you would call your mother. Do you feel like that helps you generally most of the time
Hmm.
or not? Okay, and she sends you pictures of dogs, of your dogs. Is there anything else that she would do during the moment in which you would call her?
She will sometimes help me work out my problem or figure out why I'm sad.
Okay. So she would speak to you about the problem and kind of help you derive your own solution from the situation that you're in at that point in time.
Or she would give me her advice.
Okay. So it sounds like your mother is someone that you confide in a lot with your feelings and pain.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Would you think that your mother would be another one of those coping mechanisms that you would like to create?
Sure.
Okay. So the third one that you mentioned on the things that you would do is you would go on social media. And earlier you verbalized that you would go on YouTube. What type of videos would you search on YouTube during this period of time?
Usually self help videos.
Okay, so some self help videos. Are they geared towards like a certain theme, like motivation or.
Mhm.
Okay, so motivation videos.
Mhm.
Are there any other type of videos other than motivation?
No, like how to live a more simple life, how to be happier, like how to get yourself out of rut, stuff like that. Like wellness, lifestyle.
Okay, so it sounds like you watch geared towards motivation, but also your own general wellness.
Mhm.
Okay, so do you happen to do any other things like external activities like yoga or Pilates?
Yeah, sometimes I do yoga. Yoga usually helps, and I should do some more meditation.
Okay, so you said that you've done meditation before. How often did you used to do meditation?
I've always been on and off. I haven't never really stick to a routine. But I want to start developing a morning routine where I do meditation and yoga and read some scriptures, some Bible scriptures every day.
Okay, so you used to do yoga, but it sounds like it wasn't a consistent thing in your life. But now you want to set a plan and a schedule based off of yoga, a morning routine, and reading certain Bible scriptures.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you speak about the Bible, are you a avid religious like person? Do you go to church or temple, mosque?
I go to church.
Okay, church. And do you ever go to church when you are in pain?
No, but I might put on some Christian music.
Okay, so you would put on the Christian music sometimes. How would that make you feel by putting on the Christian music?
Like I'm not in this by myself.
Okay, that you're not in it by yourself in your pain.
Hmm.
Okay, how how often would you say that you would listen to this Christian music?
Usually on the weekends.
Usually on the weekends. So if I'm getting this right, if we're setting a self care plan, it sounds like during the weekdays, something that it seems like you would like to have is a morning routine in which you would get up, do some yoga, read some Bible scriptures, and then it sounds like potentially on the weekend you could have something where you would go to church or listen to some biblical songs.
Hmm. That sounds like a good idea.
Okay, okay. How would that work for you? Do you feel like that's something that you would be able to implement in your life?
Yeah, I think I'll have to wake up a little earlier, but I think it's doable.
Okay. Okay. So when we talk about this pain, you mentioned also as well earlier that you don't like feeling alone. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who has problems and everyone else has it figured out, even though I know that must not be true.
Okay. So it sounds like you feel like you're the only one that has a problem and you are really suffering from it, whereas you seem to see everyone else is going throughout their lives not having as hard a problems as you.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel?
Like something's wrong with me.
Like something is wrong with you. Okay. And when we talked about pain earlier, was this is this one instant of the pain that you feel, or are there any other types of pain that come along with this?
I think this is the type of pain that I feel.
That you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like this pain, if we could put a term to it, how would we make a definition for this pain?
I don't understand.
So you feel as though you're not good enough. Are there any terms that come to mind when you think that? Any other terms, definitions?
Imposter syndrome
Okay.
or low self-esteem.
Okay. So imposter syndrome or low self-esteem. Okay. I remember a little bit about imposter syndrome, and I apologize if I'm not correct, but that is when you feel as though you're living your life as an imposter, and let's say the achievements in your life you feel like you haven't achieved them.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add that I wouldn't know?
No, that was good.
Okay. It sounds like when we talk about this pain of not being good enough, imposter syndrome comes up with it, as well as having low self esteem. In what ways, other than not feeling good enough, and what other ways in your life, other than not feeling good enough, would you feel like it's impacting you negatively?
I don't understand.
I'm sorry. So, for example, you said imposter syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
and that correlates to not feeling good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said that also correlates to self esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other values that we might not be thinking about that will describe this pain as well? Or are these just the three main ones that come up?
Maybe loneliness.
And loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it sounds like imposter syndrome, loneliness, low self esteem, and not feeling good about, your ability to do things is the overall definition that you've made about this pain that you're experiencing. And what I want to do now, if you don't mind, is can we talk about some accomplishments in your life? Okay, so what do you do?
I'm a program coordinator at Duke.
Oh wow, that's quite amazing. So you work at Duke and you're a program coordinator. What programs do you coordinate?
Scholarship programs.
Okay, scholarship programs. How do you do that?
Like, what's my job?
Yeah, like what? How would you? Yeah, how would you describe that job responsibility to an outsider like me? Give me a small synopsis of your day.
I answer emails. I plan events for the scholarship For the scholarship students, I do a lot of planning, do a lot of programming for the students.
Okay. So it seems like you are a very organizational type of person. You have really high end organizational skills and very good attention to detail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are there any other aspects of your job that we might be missing?
You got to be a little creative.
Okay. So you're creative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It sounds like I'm hearing that for you to do this job, you're a very organizational type of person. You have a very high attention to detail, and you are very creative.
Yes.
Are those skills that you develop, or are those skills that came naturally to you?
A little bit of both.
Okay, a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other skills that I'm missing that describe who you are, Mary? Okay,
No.
so organizational, creative, and
Those two are fine.
organizational and creative?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In what other ways in your life do those skills play a role?
Well, I'm planning a wedding, so I have to be organized and creative for that.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm trying to start a business, so I gotta be organized and creative for that as well.
Oh, wow. That is a major milestone.
Yeah.
And what made you want to start this business?
My student loan bills.
Your student loan bills. So it seems like you have a lot of student loan.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And you hope that this business will be something that will do what?
It'll help me pay off my loans.
Okay, to help you pay off your loans.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we know, other than being a program coordinator, that you had the skill set and the ability to launch a business from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if we were to think all of that, how does that signify that you would be an imposter? For example, could an imposter do all those things?
Yeah.
How so?
They can do it, and someone thinks that they're faking it.
Okay. So they can do all those things, and someone thinks that they are faking it.
Yeah, and they're a fraud, and they're about to be found out.
Okay. Who is the someone that is thinking those things?
Thinking what things? About the fraud?
Yeah.
The person thinks that way because maybe their supervisor will find them out.
Okay. So the person thinks this way, that they're living themselves a lie,
Mm-hmm.
because of their worry that someone will catch them in a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I see. So what will be the reality of someone with imposter syndrome? That they are living their lives in a lie so that someone wouldn't catch them in a lie.
Yes.
In what ways could there be truth in how the person is living their lives?
Well, I guess because of the degrees that they have.
Okay, so accolades.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, what accolades do you have?
I have a few awards from school.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I forgot about them. And then I have 2 degrees.
Okay, 2 degrees. That's very nice. Were you in a master's program?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see that you're a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
I should have noticed that. That is an amazing field, amazing helping profession. What made you want to do that?
I wanted to help people, and it articulated everything that I just stood on. It was just a breath of fresh air.
Okay. May I ask, what have you stood on? Like, what stood on you to become a social worker?
Just like my political beliefs and um, just caring for one another and participating in justice and stuff like that.
Okay. And I take it that makes you very happy to do.
Yeah.
When you do those things, do you feel like an imposter?
No, not when I'm in social work.
Okay. So when you were a social worker, it sounds like you feel like you're a superhero.
Yeah.
And it seems like this job that you have currently doesn't make you feel like a social worker.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
Are there any ways in which you could bring the qualities and the passion of social work to this job?
Yeah, I could try to put more of an effort.
What would that look like?
Speaking up when my coworkers aren't doing something right, or incorporating more social justice programming, things like that.
So, being more assertive to your boss or other individuals about your own opinions,
Right.
and really advocate. It sounds like advocating really moves you a lot,
Yeah.
and that is a very amazing quality to have. Okay, so I just want to summarize where we went thus far. So at the beginning, we came in, and you've had this pain that you didn't want to talk about, and you want to talk about a self-care plan. So we talked about that, and we decided that you could make a schedule in which you integrate factors of wellness, such as watching YouTube videos, motivational videos, as well as doing yoga, into a weekly program early in the morning. That way, that can help you buffer some of the effects of the pain that you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also talked about potentially on the weekend going to church, as well as talking to your mother, or even maybe FaceTime your dogs. That can be another option. And then we went away from that, and we really segue into what the pain is. And it sounds like the pain is loneliness, imposter syndrome, and low self-efficacy, which is not believing that you can do the things that you want to do.
Right.
And from there, we went into who is Mary. Mary's organizational. Mary has the ability to have great attention to detail. Mary's a social worker. Mary loves to advocate, and Mary has a passion for spreading social work around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are here, and how can Mary use social work to really go in? How can you use social work with your pain in order to reduce what you're feeling, especially if it's happening on your job?
Right.
Okay. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. No, this was good. This was very helpful.
Okay. So, are there any aspects of your pain that come from any other facets of your life instead of your job?
Well, I've struggled with my friends, but I don't think I really want to talk about that.
Okay, and that's fine. We don't have to go into your friends. I think we really dug into, enough today.
Yeah.
Would you like to stay on more with your job?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay. Then, is there anything else that you would like to discuss in our time?
Nope. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.